every week is just to have pizzas here so that anybody who wants to eat can just donate. If you don't have any money, just eat, please, Or if you forgot your wallet, I don't care, eat. Get me next week, okay? So we'll get some pizzas, we'll have them here. It'll be more fun to come in, we can eat, and we won't all get hangry. Next week, hello. Hi. Next week there is no meeting. You guys know that? Okay, there is no meeting next week because they are using this room. And believe it or not, it's hard to find some place to put 60 people in Chippewa Falls. And I don't want to drive to Eau Claire, so I just say, oh, we're bagging it. Plus, next week is No Kings, okay? No Kings is on Saturday, and it's going to be a big darn deal. Thank you, Amy. Huh? So, and I will talk all about those things tonight, and I'm going to need some help on those things, so we'll talk about all of that. I got more coming. See, believe it or not, I'm still trying to stall. I'm talking about pizza. Stalling. Patter. Awesome. Okay, so no meeting next week. Please tell your friends. I will make sure it isn't posted, but people always advise me. Yes? And it says there is one. I know. Because I saw it on the way over, I'm like, oh, forgot. Because I set up automatic meetings, so I have to go manually remove it. So I will be changing that. There is no meeting next week. I've got to take it off our calendar and everything else. It's kind of like yesterday, I was in Eau Claire and I was talking about the No Kings Day, and someone said, I went to your website and it said there is no time or anything there. And I'm like, ooh, I forgot to change your website, So I changed that. That's all changed now, and all of the No Kings stuff and the Mobilize is changed. And I think I still have to do some of the Facebook stuff, but I think I've changed the dates and times on that. So it is challenging to hit all the places it has to be, because people often advise me, like, I look and I can't find it, and it's like, I'm sorry, I don't even know how to put it. I can't get it enough places to find you. So I'm doing my best. If you got other ideas, just spread it around. Okay? What's that? Again, my backside. You should turn it that way. Turn the other wise instead of this wise. So don't go back. What are you thinking? Okay. Yes. Okay, so the main thing, see, this is what I'm waiting for. Believe it or not, I'm just waiting for, because then I'll say it and then they won't know. So I'm dawdly. Next week you have permission to miss the rallies, okay? I don't think we can stop them because the Democratic Party also has them. Democratic Party of Eau Claire has it and Democratic Party of Chippewa has it. Plus people get used to coming. So you may come, hi. So you may still go to the Wednesday rally. You still may go to the Thursday rally. You have my permission not to because it's a lot in 1 week, especially since, I really want you guys to participate in No Kings on Saturday, right? So, and we got to get the word out. It was funny, one of the things I talked about this weekend, for those of you that don't know, I was in DC this weekend for Indivisifest, so I spent the whole weekend with 285 Indivisible leaders and 42 staff members. And what I can tell you is, we are all interesting people, and it's one of the things I noticed and I observed at the end, all of the staff people are really good at lifting us all up. They're just like, oh, what you're doing up in Chippewa Valley is just amazing. We follow you. We saw what you did with Van Orden. We know this. Staff people are just like, you guys are killing it, right? So I love those staff people, hence much hugging. Much hugging on the staff people. And then the other leaders are all there being our human selves, and I am a very human self. And so we're all kind of humble bragging, We're all kind of humble bragging and trying to show everybody like we're doing okay, because we all feel like, oh God, is everybody doing better than me? So everybody's like how many people they have and how many groups and how many this and how many that. And so I kept trying to pierce the bubble, and I would say things like, I notice my human side wants to compete with you, and that's really not helpful. I just really want to know, how are you making X work? And I would pick something, and they go, oh, yeah, I notice that too. I feel that way too. They would say that, and then we'd go right back into the humble bragging. So And I did my fair share. I did my fair share, but I kept trying to pierce myself and stand myself in a corner when I got too carried away. So, but it was an interesting thing. I think we have a really remarkable group. What I can say, you know, we are one of the largest in terms of, and then in terms of how many people show up, they could not believe how many people show up. And they said, you go meet monthly, and I'm like, no, weekly. And they said, you have that many people show up every week? I'm like, yeah. And they said, really? I said, yeah, they show up, and they go to 2 rallies a week. And so they were, you know, so there were a lot of things that they were really impressed that we're doing. They really loved how many, you know, like all the action groups we have and all that kind of stuff. The other thing that I learned that was really, I should launch into some of this stuff pretty soon, in a minute. Sorry, I know what you're going to start to do, and I'm like, wait, don't put that up yet. The other thing that I noticed that's really interesting is we're really lucky that we were born in Wisconsin, or at least live here, because we got something that a lot of other states didn't get. For the first 100 days, we had the Crawford fight. We had something to fight for. Think about if you're in South Dakota, or Iowa, or Idaho, or Alabama. What are you fighting for those first 100 days, right? I found out we're really lucky because guess what? We also have District 3. They really want Van Orden out. And they really want to help us. They really want him out. We are so lucky. We have help for the next 500 days. And I told them, listen, guys, I want to take Tiffany out too. And they're like, tell us more. Seriously. They said, tell us more. I'm like, okay. And so I went over and I'm like, here's what we need and blah, blah, blah. And I've heard they've got some people running. It's totally doable. If we have a 14-point shift, we can run an empty box and win. So give us a decent candidate. Help us support somebody. We want to take him out too. And they're like, yeah, we're all over Wisconsin. And I thought, that's awesome. So I just want to say we were really lucky by an accident of birth to be here because we are getting a lot of their energy. Plus, we have something to fight for that's got real tangible. You know, I don't know how they keep fighting in some of those other states. I mean, at least we keep having a new goal. That was one of the things that I really got out of the weekend. That, like, I walked away thinking, gosh, aren't we lucky? We have this terrible authoritarian takeover, but wow, we're really lucky. You know, like us, like us. So anyway, I'll tell you more about that. I was telling everyone that, you know, I spent 3 days from 8 in the morning. Well, actually, we were downstairs by 7:30. From 7:30 until, they went till 10 o'clock, but I started giving up on the late night things because it was mostly things like silent disco. You guys ever heard of silent disco? No. Everybody in the room puts on headsets, plays whatever music they want at whatever volume. So if you just watch everybody dance to like their own tune in silence. Now, what are the chances I'm going to do that? Seriously, what are the chances Cindy's going to do that? What the hell is going on underneath me? Hell is opening up to take me right now. Okay, sorry, just kidding. But they're like, are you coming to silent disco? It's like, no, don't think so. I'm really tired. I had an early flight, you know, so I gave up on silent disco. And then the next night there was something else. Are you doing? It's like, no, I don't think I'm doing that either. And I must tell you, by Sunday night, I'm sure you can figure it out. I'm a fairly social person. I talk and enjoy people a lot. I hug on, you know, I love people. By Sunday night, I just was like, y'all got to get away from me. I can't stand to see one more of you. Don't one more of you come up and talk to me. I don't care who you are. Get out of my, seriously, I went up in my room and I just like plugged my ears. It's like, I cannot hear one more thing. Okay, I was normal by the next morning again. But I was just really so full of information, so full of people, so full of everything. So, and because I spent so much time doing this, it was just amazing, and I could talk for 15 hours, but I always make sure to keep to my 1 hour schedule here. So here we go. All right, I'm ready.
What would you like, PowerPoint?
PowerPoint, please. Hello. No meeting next week.
No meeting next week?
No, you guys got to help me, because see, these are going to, she'll show up. No meeting next week. They're using the whole facility. So, and we have no kings, so I was okay with that idea. Where are we? Okay, good. Show that thing. Okay, So I learned a lot of stuff over the weekend, and one of the things I learned is to communicate more clearly like what I think our goals are. So one of the things, I've spent quite a bit of time with Wendy and Preston and some other folks going over like our mission and vision and all that. Now we're going to talk about this and you can give feedback, but I want to tell you what I think it is, how I think the group was formed and why. So the next one, please. Thank you. Sorry. So our mission, I think, is to defend, protect, preserve, and strengthen our democracy. That is our permanent long-term goal. That's the thing we're trying to do. We'll probably never achieve it, right? Because we can always keep strengthening, so you can never really fulfill it. But this is the ultimate long-term goal we are on, okay?
It's like
that's
forming a more perfect union.
Yes, that's what we are trying to do. And that's what I formed this group for, and that's what I think we're doing. So every one of your subgroups, while you are working in healthcare, neighbors helping neighbors, whatever you're doing, education, we're all doing it for this. To defend, protect, preserve, and strengthen our democracy, okay? Everything we do is in service of that bigger mission. Clear? Now we can argue about all this later, because, you know, why not? Anyway, but that's what I think we're doing. And then that way, if you think this is not what I think this group is doing, well, then we probably should have a talk. Okay, next one. The vision, when you're doing it as is explained to me, the vision is like the short term, like the big mountain we want to get to is way, way far away, but there'll be a lot of little mountains in between. So how are we going to get to and get over the first little mountain? Okay, so our first little mountain, I think, is in November of 2026, which is in 510 days. Okay, which is, Not very far. 510 days to change the legislative balance of power in November. And I think this is nationally, state, and local. We're going to change them all while working locally and regionally for systemic change by rebuilding and strengthening our community, right? So ironically, when I was at the thing this weekend, hello, Mr. Gunderman. When I was at the thing this weekend, one of the things they started doing is going over pillars. Remember we did that a few weeks ago? They're just starting them. And they said in a couple weeks, in our meeting today, they told everybody, in a couple weeks, we're going to start doing some pillars work. And I'm like, well, we're busy already. So, but I mean, that's what they're working on, but it's for the same thing. We talked about systemic change. Like we can do legislative change, but the problem is it doesn't stick. And the reason it doesn't stick is because we don't do the systemic change to make the rest of it keep going with it. Right? So we're going to be of two minds, and we're going to do both these things at once. We're going to keep our eye on the November election. We're going to do everything we can to get rid of Van Orden and Tiffany, right? Yeah, we're going to do everything we can to get rid of them. And at the same time, we're going to keep rebuilding our community and rebuilding our connections and try and protect and save what we can so that people will make choices with us. See, I was going to say better, but I don't want to value judgment them. Make choices with us to do things that strengthen us all and protect us all. That's what we're trying to do. Agree?
Yes.
Okay, and if you don't, we'll argue about it later. Okay, good. Core values is something we're going to do together. This just says starting the conversation because this is where we're starting. We need to come up with the 3 to 5 words that we think are us. So we just kind of generated this first quick list, which is like, perhaps if one of our were community, compassion, courage, curiosity, empowerment, integrity, resilience, resistance, solidarity. There could be other words. I want you to think of words. Okay, so next week, no, not next week because they're not meeting. In 2 weeks, after No Kings, when we can finally breathe again, then we're going to do this work about figuring out as a group what are our core values. Okay? All right? I picked my 3 already, so let's see what 3 you pick. But you can make up more. These are just the first ones we came up with. Look it up in the dictionary. Don't use your loosey-goosey, this is my mom's definition, you know? Or I think it means this, you know? Like, look it up. All right? Any questions on that? Oh, excellent. I told everybody, told them today, I could have used 2 more hours before the meeting. I really needed a little more time. So be prepared. I don't know what slide's next. Oh, good. All righty. Can you pop over? Wait, don't go do that yet. So this is the part where we talk about what we've done in the last couple weeks or whatever, right? And we talk about the group work and us. So the big thing that I've been working on is No Kings Rally. I'm going to need some help with this because let me tell you, Cindy by herself can't do it. And Cindy did what Cindy always does. She took a big risk and took a big swing with a big pitch. And it looks like we're going to get it. So I've made a big mess. No, I mean, really. So what I have got the police to agree to in Eau Claire is to let us march from Owen Park down Graham to the Pablo Center to Haymarket, over to Phoenix Park, drop off everybody who wants to do Pride in the park, leave them there, march back with the rest up Barstow and dump them off. We don't have to get a permit if you guys will behave yourself and make sure we all stay, follow the traffic signals, right? So that starts at noon, Owen Park. Right now there are about 350 people signed up. I know. So I want to make sure that we have water strategically placed along the way. I want to make sure that some of us act at the major crosswalks so that we don't end up with a ticket. So there's some stuff we got to do to make all that work. Someone said, are there going to be speakers and stuff? Do y'all like the speakers in the last one? No, it was long. It was long. So it's going to be short. We're going to have a couple quick things to like rah, 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 get you all excited. Hey, no King's Day, It won't be me, I promise. But so we'll get someone to just like do a quick kind of like, yeah, exactly. Quick little like, let's schlep our way through town and and then we want to come up with like a series of chants so they can work their way down. We just want to make it known. And the main thing I asked them when I talked to the police is like, where is there the most traffic on Saturday? And they said that we'll let you be, and like, because I thought of Altoona up over the overpasses, and they said for sure people be plowing into each other's butts. And then they said there's a lot of traffic on Claremont, which everybody calls Crashmont. And the other problem is 350 of us don't look like anything. They said everybody's going to be downtown for Pride in the Park and for shopping and like a flag, so they said your best bet is to be downtown. So we're going to be downtown, okay? So they agreed to that. So then I took the next big bite because I hadn't had quite enough yet to scare me. I woke up with 3 anxiety attacks last night. I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? So I contacted Chippewa Parks and Rec. And they said if we get the permits and fill it out, we can have Riverfront Park from 6 to 9. So I have to get event insurance, and we can have bands, and we can have food trucks. We can do all that stuff and have everybody in. So that's what we're trying to do. Yeah, I know. What was I, huh?
6 to 9.
Same day, yeah.
6 to 9, 6 p.m. to 9.
6 to 9 p.m.
Because they have that rumble on the riverfront, wrestling all day.
They'll be done 4 to 5.
Oh, okay.
I already know. I talked to Izzy and the park.
I knew that there was
Yeah.
wrestling going on.
There's wrestling from 4 to 5 because what I'm trying to do, remember we're trying to do the thing that's 2 brains? So what we're trying to do is rally and make a lot of noise from noon to 2:30, sweat like crazy together, and then come up here and have a good time and just be we the people. Chippewa Valley Strong, let's all get together. Let's just be together, wave the flag, have some fun, okay? We still have the roundabout, so if people want to march and say stuff, we still can. It's all still good, so we can still do a protest around Peace Circle, but then we can also just invite the community and have folks come in and just come hang out, bring blankets, do whatever, lay in the park. Get wood ticks with the rest of us. Aren't there a lot of wood ticks out there this year? I have pulled so many off my poor dog. Anyway, I digress. Perhaps put on some off or something. I think it's a great idea. I also think it's moderately crazy. So if we get the permit, even if we don't get the permit, we can still go. We just can't bring in music or food trucks. So then we just encourage everyone to bring what they want and bring big fat boom box, right? So we just bring a big fat boom box and have some fun and still march around and do our thing because we are family. Come on, we're Chippewa Valley. Let's do it, okay? So that's what I signed us up for, and I need people to help. So because I know someone said, who's planning this? And I'm like, me. And they're like, who else? I'm like, right now it's just me. Yep, okay, so I'm going to send out in the follow-up that comes out tomorrow, it's going to say, who wants to join me and pick a city so that we can all do this fun thing together, okay? So that's why you have permission not to do Wednesday and Thursday rallies, and it's why and then why we don't have the meeting, because we are all going to be pretty busy on Saturday. And one of the things I told them at Indivisifest, I said, you guys, the Democratic Party helped us a lot on the first one. They set it all up. They had 1,700 people there. I'm going to be lucky if I have 250. I am going to look like the biggest horse's ass. And they laughed. I said, I'm going to look like the failure of the century. And they're like, so what? You had 200 people there. Enjoy it. So I am there now. Where I was, oh, it's not going to be good enough. And where I'm now is, if we have 250 in Eau Claire that march and 250 out here, I'm thrilled. Okay? Oh, my pizzas are ready. Oh, thank you. Anybody who wants pizzas, go get them while they're warm. Amy's opening up. Okay? So what do you guys think? I mean, I could just, you like it? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Because we're having two brains, right? We're having two brains. And today I was on the messaging call and they said the messaging, so two more things. So they said the messaging for No King's Day is freedom to. You know, freedom to worship, freedom to think, freedom to vote, freedom to, you know, freedom from deportation. Use freedom for a lot. Okay, that was the message. We want to be affirmative. What do we want? Okay, always what we want, not just what we don't.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to blast through this. What time is it? How am I doing for time?
It is 10 to 6.
Oh, fart blossom. Okay, that's good. All right, I'm working. Okay, so the No Kings Rally, we touched that, okay? We know where we're there, where we are there. Pride in the Park. I really want you guys to support this. We are there. We have people there. Right now, Jen has more people than I do. She still has 2 empty slots. As you can guess, they're right around the time we'd be marching. Those are the 2 empty slots. So, but she needs some help there for Pride in the Park. We're going to be there. And when we do the rally, okay, if you want to drop off and go to Phoenix Park and hang out there, I'm totally cool with that. You don't have to walk back. We might be, someone suggested maybe we have vehicles on the other end and have volunteers run people back who don't want to walk, who can't walk the whole distance. So, oh, and the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a map tomorrow. Tomorrow, Bill and I are going to, right, Bill? Tomorrow, Bill and I are going to drive the route. We're going to pick out the places where people with mobility issues can stop. And then when we come to that area, we'll clump, rally, and move on so people with mobility issues that can't travel far can still join us and rally with us. Okay? So anybody who can't make it back, or maybe, you know, we could put some cars on one end and then ferry back and forth. Okay? We're going to see if we can get a couple of medical people there. So if something happens, we have someone to call quick. I have to alert the police. I think that's everything. I wrote it down. I did, I swear. I wrote it all down. I just don't bring it all here. What? What's that face?
I'm trying to think what else you might need.
Yeah.
That's my thinking face.
Oh, I know. Well, I did spend time in a session about prepping for these things. So I actually have a whole worksheet on it too. That's why I got some of it done. I didn't get it all done, man. Okay. So Pride in the Park. We would really love to support this event. They're going to do rock painting with positive messages. We want to be there. We really want to support our folks. What else do I want to say about that? Don't feel bad about dropping off. I'll be just as happy if you drop off as if you finish. I don't give a crap. I'm just as happy with you there as I am with you back at the other end. Got it? Don't be afraid to drop off. Okay. Eau Claire and Chippewa, optional next week. Okay? Eau Claire and Chippewa, optional next week. Okay. I gotta wait. All right, you guys, you're gonna have to look in a minute, so get ready. Okay, can you bring it? So part of what I'm gonna talk about here, you guys are starting to rename yourselves and I'm loving it. You guys have names I can finally sell, so this is great. So the Healthcare Action Group, can you go to the website, show them there too, and go to that page. Okay. How many of you guys been on the website now? How many of you are going regularly? God bless your hearts. Okay. All right, you guys ready? You listening? Okay. Right over here, in this upper right-hand corner, this thing appears on every page of the website, no matter what. No matter what you pull up, this thing is changed every day. Kurt does this for us. Roll up. Okay, so this is the things to do each day. At the top are the national things, and then when people in the state or locally give me things, like when Chris gave me stuff to go down for Lobby Day, or from Jeremy when Citizen Action gives me something, or if the Dems give me something, they usually come right in under here, okay? Right here. Now, one of the things I've asked Kurt to do is prepare a page with all of the information on the Big Ugly Bill, so this can get a little shorter, because we want you to start checking here about who to call. And he does check. Kurt takes a look and makes sure how many people are calling each day, so we can tell if they're, you know, so you can tell 21,000. So who needs to call about what and why is here, and then there's some other stuff. So there's another page that's going to have more of this stuff on it. But if there's local stuff, like if you guys are participating with like the Ice Age Trail, if you're participating with, God, I don't know, think of something that people, like a library thing, let us know, it'll go up there. So if you guys can just get in the habit of just checking every day, like, I care about that thing, I'm gonna call on that thing, I'm gonna do that thing. We're trying to have 3 national actions, up to 5, but then a couple state and locals. And we change it every day, even on the weekend, even on holidays. We do it all the time. He's good. He gets up early enough that I no longer worry. The first week, you know how I am, right? Checking him. Oh, yeah. I had to edit for a few for a while, but he's a quick learner. Pretty soon he was doing it just the way I was. So he's got that down, so now I just need you guys to check it and use it, okay? In addition to that, the reason I want to talk about your pages now, your pages are really starting to come up, and I want you to start using them and use them with your friends as well, not just you. So like the Health Action Group right here, so they're up here, the new ones will get added in here. So education is becoming Learning Bridge. So it's going to drop down healthcare, neighbors helping neighbors, protecting equity, rule of law, save our services, truth and our economy. The group that we have on Monday nights asked something about having a page. They're not an action group going out in the community. What they do is for us. So that's like a support group, not an action group. So I'm trying to figure out a way so it might show up. I'm figuring out where you're going to have it so you can get the schedule all the time. It's okay to step out and take care of yourself. The goal that we do that is so you can step back into the fight, right? You need to step out. Take care of yourself. What are we fighting for? We're asking you to go nuts? We're not asking you to go nuts. We're asking you to settle down, take care of yourself. And the people who go find it really validating, valuable, they share. So we're doing it. We've got the folks. Can you pop this thing? There, I'll send it to them. So they are now calling themselves Saving Ourselves at the library. So on June 2nd, that one's already done. June 9th is Mary. Laughter yoga, they're going to do it out there in the band shell. If you want to do laughter yoga next Monday, go do it in the band shell. So you're going to learn how to laugh and get rid of all your tension. Some of you can really use this. Some of you say, shut up. Some of them are real humorless fucks. Oh, yes. All right. And then on the 16th, we have meditation basics, and then Mike's doing how to be less upset in upsetting times. So this, I always put it in the newsletter. It's always there. When I send you an email, it's always there. But I'm going to make sure it's on the website too. But we don't want it out there for the public. Because, there are people who can't afford therapy, and, we'll end up with 500 people in there, Yeah. So we don't want to do that. Okay, good. Close that up. And go back to the website, please. And to the people back there, Mitzi and Pat, we'll send it to you. Okay, so now the group pages are always going to look the same. On the right-hand side is this call thing. On the left-hand side are the 2 most important things we want you to do now. So healthcare wants you to do right now, support postpartum coverage for Medicaid patients, keep coming, what the bills are and who to call, who to write to, who to call, what to do. This is important now. That's why it's on here now, okay? So whatever district you're in, here's a sample script. Here's what you need to do. What we're trying to, Robin Voss is refusing to bring it to a vote. We are one of the few states, one of only 2 that doesn't have it. And Medicaid in particular for pregnant women, where is it? Right here. About 30% of pregnancy-related deaths occur between 43 and 365 days, and tragically, 76 of the people who died had Medicaid when the baby was born, but they took them off them and then they died. So let's knock that off. So we want them to get it on the schedule. And Rob Sommerfeld, while a Republican, actually wrote and proposed a bill or something. He's way super behind it. So if he's your guy, call your guy. We know what kind of reception we'll get in some of the others. Christian will be there, Jody will be strong, Clint will be a tough call. But if your rep isn't on here, you can find him right here. The main point, what's the main point I'm trying to get you to get? Every group is now going to, on their page, start having whatever's most important in that upper left. Whatever they're working on is like a burning issue is going to be in the upper left, okay? In the lower right-hand side of every group, there's going to be a blog. Right here. Yeah, I know. Do you want to call Robert F. Kennedy? And so then if you hit, and if you want, and then if you hit more healthcare, then if there are more blog posts, which there aren't, I took down the other one, so there was another one, or if there's a second page, it goes here and gives you more stuff. So every group is starting to have that. Can you show me Neighbors Helping Neighbors? So the reason I'm showing you this, I want you guys to start thinking for your groups. What are you working on? What do you want to put up? Okay? And I got to say another thing. Keep it short, people. You don't like to read long things. I don't like to. And give me a picture. Okay? Yes, I taught college. Yes, I am a college graduate. I still want a picture. Okay? Give me a picture. Make it short. Make me want to read it. Okay? So Neighbors Helping Neighbors. So notice right now, Neighbors Noshing with Neighbors. We have there the community table and Agnes's table right here. See? And what we contributed. So when we wanted them to give for that, we had it up there because it was there, but now just letting them know. Pretty soon, when that drops off, it goes over under here. See, anytime a story drops off, it goes over here so you never lose it. It just moves. So the new current thing comes up. So they've got, do you have another one coming? Not that I know of yet. Okay, but you get what we're doing? Okay. Show me Save Our Services. Thank you. So they're working on Ice Age Trail. Did you know that? So if you look, their first stories, what it is, see, pictures. I like pictures. Okay. Oh, look where it goes. Look at that. Right there, up there by Rice Lake and Cornell. I love that. And the thing they want you to do is let them know we want to support this. So if you care about this, this is how you can do it. So that's how I want you guys to start like, okay, so I'm not on Save Our Services, but oh, look, they're doing that. I got 15 minutes. I think I'll do that. Right? Rule of law. Blah, blah, blah. I think that's the last one that I have much up for. So theirs, they have it as a PDF. When you hit it, it loads the PDF, and you can do it, and they have links in theirs. Okay? It's a little daunting. I'm trying to figure out how to make this more approachable. I'm trying to, at least they categorize it, but it's just a little daunting. Okay? You get it? You all clear? Your group, important things upper left, 5 calls upper right, blog stuff down here. And the blog can just be, they may not have a big story on it. It could just be they have something for the day and it'll get popped in there. So those may go by. So if it's your group, take a look once in a while. And if you subscribe to it, nice to see ya. Come again, take some food. Unless it's all gone, it might all be gone, who knows. Where were we? So if you start seeing how to use it and you subscribe to it, maybe you'll know when it makes a change or something. I'm going to tell you honestly, I don't know if that works yet, but I think it does for the calendar, right? Kurt, doesn't it work for the calendar if you subscribe? Just put the calendar, why?
Google Calendar updates.
Bring it up?
It updates.
Oh, thanks. Okay, got it. Okay. Yeah, so we've got the calendar up there, so you guys get what we're doing? Awesome. Okay, so I'm back on that. Yeah, so that's why it says the Health Action Group says, please make those state calls. We really need that, okay, for Medicaid. Oh, I got to tell you a fun story. You want to hear a fun story? It's about you guys. It's me humble bragging. I did. So they were talking about Medicaid, and they kept talking about Medicaid. So I went up. We were eating, and Leah and Ezra, you know who they are? Yeah. So I went up to Ezra. I'm like, hey, Ezra, I just, I want to know, who do I tell this to? I said, in our group, a bunch of... I can't.
Sorry.
Okay, so I said, hey, Ezra, who do I tell? I said, in our group, we have a health action group, and they told us not to use the word Medicaid because no one knows what it is. In Wisconsin, it's Badger Care. And so they told us to use Badger Care instead of Medicaid so people knew what to do. I said, and after they said that, I remembered that in Arizona, it was called Access. So if someone had said Access in Arizona, I would know instantly. And in Wisconsin, if they say Badger Care, I know right away. And Ezra said, well, you need to tell, and he told me who it was. He says, you know what? That's okay. I'll take care of it. I got it. I'm going to tell them. What we're going to do is find the name of it in all 50 states, and we're going to let people know. We're going to send it out to everybody. That's you guys. You guys did that. but I got to humble brag. Pretty fun, huh? Isn't that cool? Yes, ma'am.
I have a personal story. We had a family friend, and he and his whole family are on Badger Care. And they said, well, there was a discussion going on about Medicaid. We don't have Medicaid. We have Badger Care. So they are not combining the two, even the people who have it.
I know, you have to tell them. You really do. Well, it's kind of like, I remember when Sandy told me once, my sister, she was telling me once, someone said, yeah, I don't have, Sandy was talking about Obamacare, and whoever it was said, I don't have Obamacare, I have the Affordable Care Act. Right? Do you remember me telling it? And we laughed. Oh gosh, we laughed, like we cackled like old hens. It was great. Okay, so yes, we have to help them see it, because they don't. But I just want you to know that now is rippling across the country. Okay, so that's y'all. That's y'all. Yay. So I was just super proud of us all weekend. There were so many, I had so many of those things. Anyway, continuing. Neighbors helping neighbors, we did that, the whole thing with the Agnes's table and the community table. We need some people. They're mobilized links. If you go to their page, it has the mobilized links to sign up, and if you want to donate. I do actually think we've got enough to cover both, so, but if you give more, we'll use it for other stuff, so. The Ice Age Trail, the Save Our Services is working on the Ice Age Trail. You saw that, and the Knowles Nelson thing.
Stewardship Fund.
Yeah, that's it, the Knowles Nelson Stewardship Fund.
Can I tell a little bit about it?
If you can do it quick, because every single group is asked to go tonight.
Okay. What it is it's a fund in Wisconsin that generates the funding. For instance, across the street is the park. That is generated through Knowles Nelson Fund. And it goes up for, it's being refunded next year. And right now, they're very concerned about it being funded. And so they want you to contact your representatives to say, we really want this. It's for our state, we need it.
Yeah, truly, every group has to go. We have 10 different groups. That's the whole meeting. If you know, so and that's why you have pages so people can read it. So if you say one sentence and you tell one story and you say I'm good with one, like you got one sentence, go. Okay, good. That's Save Ourselves and Mindful Medics. I showed you the new schedule. For those of you that haven't tried it, it really is a lot of fun. You really like it. You go just kind of hang out, talk, be with folks. People share. It's nice being with like-minded folks. Give it a shot. You might like it. Rule of Law, they're working on their rapid response thing yet. That's moving forward. Bill's contact. He found 3 attorneys that have said they would be willing to work with us. So we're making headway on that. The biggest thing a friend sent about ICE raiding and taking some people in the cities, so it's getting closer. So we just have to get that in place and be prepared. At the workshop that I went to today on messaging, one of the best things they were talking about, there's a thing, I can't remember the name of the group. Hit that other little fat thing I said to take. That one. Free DC. They have a huge resistance movement, and they said the number one thing you do is you say no. So like if they put up a curfew that says you have to be in by 9 o'clock, they all go out at 9:02. And they stand outside. If they say you can't do X, they go do it. So there's a huge resistance. They also say do not obey in advance, prioritize joy. Look at how high that is on the list. If we're not having fun, why bother? Take up space, don't go hide and disappear, practice solidarity and organize. So that's all. That was just in my messaging. I told her, I said I might pull this one up. So who knows? Okay, good.
Are these from Ontario? That's what it sounds like.
From where?
Ontario.
On Tyranny, it's Free DC, and they're using that book.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, I did the website. Learning Bridge. That used to be education. Oh, I want to say something about the vision. When we were talking about the vision, one of the things I wanted to say is our vision is about changing things legislatively, right? So like one of the things the education Learning Bridge group was doing was legislation related to schools, right? That's good. What the Health Action Group is worried about is like calling senators about legislation. Our focus is a lot on legislation. And even today in our Indivisible meeting, one of the things they said is that even Chris Murphy said yesterday, we may not have elections in 2026. We got to fight like dogs. Mm-hmm. And we know that may be true, But you know what? If you start obeying in advance and acting like we're not, they've already won. So we have to fight like dogs with what we have. So that's what I'm saying. Like every group is working legislatively, but then we're also working in the community. So don't forget in your groups also to be two-brained, okay? What can we do legislatively to keep pressuring and get people to do it? And what can we do to the community to create the systemic change we need? Okay? Okay, good. All right, next one. Who knows what's coming next? Quickly.
Quickly. So we have reached out to the library, and they are doing a postcard drive, postcards to your legislators, and so we have 30 postcards up here. If you're willing to just write a very quick note on the back what your library means to you, don't mail it, give it back to me. This will go to the library directly. They will stamp it and they will mail it out. So I have 30 cards. If you want to write one to each of your senators, you're welcome to do that. But
It's just for senators?
They're already ready to run up here and grab it.
Yeah, just for senators?
If they only put senators on their list. So
Okay, then just for senators.
For senators. So, but yeah, and they've got a couple of notes on
Yes,
here to
Jen?
help you think about what you might want to write.
The little libraries have them too. They had them at Bloomer today.
Yes, they're doing
Okay.
it across the state, yes.
Okay?
Can you put that also online? I'd like
Of
to
course
send
we
my
will.
sister who's doing this
Of
sort
course
thing
we will.
to the Mequon Library
Yeah.
way down.
If the Learning Bridge reaches out to us and asks us to, yeah, we will.
I think that's a good
Yeah,
idea.
that the ball is the ball is in the Learning Bridge's court right now.
I think that's it.
Yeah. A picture of the postcard and 2 or 3 sentences. Don't go on and on. Okay.
Drop it off at the library?
Can they drop it off at the library?
You may drop it off at the library, yes, as long as it's brought there by July 21st. Okay.
Oh, that's a lifetime for us. Okay. Okay, great. Thanks. Website I did. 5 calls we did. Did I forget any group or anything? Yes, ma'am. Yes, Juneteenth. Let us not forget. I am thrilled because they even canceled our indivisible meeting so we could go to Juneteenth. They did. So we are all excited. So Juneteenth is, of course, June 19th, and we will pump more information out about that. Okay?
Park 5 to 8, Protecting Equity will set up a table there for individuals.
And we want as many of y'all there as can get there. Yep. What time again?
5 to 8.
Okay, so now the ball's in your court. Send me that, okay? And I'll get it up there. If you guys can get it to me, I can get it in the email tomorrow. I try to hold to 2 emails a week so you guys will read them. So make sure you get them in. Otherwise, it goes on the website. You know, that's where I'm putting everything now. I'm trying to train you guys to use this for all the stuff you need. Okay, go. Who knows what's next? Oh, the messaging minute today, the thing they talked about. You remember I told you that when we talked about Chenoweth, and there was somebody who, Chenoweth believed that force worked and fighting worked and violence worked, and there was someone who came to her and said, are you willing to check and see if that's true? The person who said that and changed Chenoweth's mind and made her do the research was at our event this weekend. It was so cool. Can you imagine how happy I was right there in the front row? Like, oh my God, look at that. She was on the call today for Messaging Minute with Anat Shenker-Osario and research, and what they said is, from why civil resistance works, and this they covered this weekend when we were there, in order to win our pro-democracy campaign, we need large, diverse participation and sustained momentum. Large, diverse, sustained. So just doing just the rally, so all this other stuff we're doing is much harder. It's much easier to just show up. I gotta tell you, as a person who's on this side, it's much easier to just show up for the rally every week. It is much harder to do all this other stuff, but it's what matters. So we got to keep fighting to do that, right? Find the energy to support each other to do it. We need to keep expanding the repertoire of nonviolent tactics. We'll have more on this next week. We have to provoke loyalty shifts among key pillars. So we talked about that too, all right? Weakening the pillars. I got to tell you, we were up for an award. They picked 4, they had 4 categories, and there were 4 groups chosen, and we were one. And it was really exciting to see I took a picture, I'll show you, next week I'll show you, and they read what we, huh?
2 weeks.
Yeah, in 2 weeks. Well, who knows, I might be up here. Yeah, where is it? I will, I'll be sitting here like, where is everybody? Yeah, so, But I took a picture and they announced it, and it was all about who was doing a better job of managing the media. Because I know you guys feel like we're not getting enough media. I got to tell you, most groups would kill to get national media like we're getting. Yes, it'd be nice if WEAU and QOW and the paper came more, but for God's sake, the Washington Post and NPR and all these other folks are coming, and Lawrence O'Donnell, Cory Booker, you know, we're doing things that are quite amazing. So we were nominated for one of them. And you want to know the group that beat us out? Because we didn't win. It would have been really fun to win. But I thought, oh, I should have dressed better. So, you know, I did. As they're reading them off, like, oh, if I'd known this was now, I would have dressed better. You know, but they only picked four for each. It wasn't like unlimited nominations. So, I mean, they had unlimited nominations, but picked the top four. So we were one of the top four. But the group that won was the group on the East Coast in Jersey who started the Avello Airlines. Oh. And how do you compete with that one? How do you compete with that one? And we spent one whole session on, I chose that session because it was all about weakening pillars, and it was all about and why Tesla takedown worked, and why Target worked, and then why Avello Airlines. That I see is the next one they're taking in, because they said the problem is, and I know I said, did I say this last week? Like, if we do it and we're just a little annoyance, they just learn if they wait us out, we go away. So it has to be systemic, it has to be big. And Avello now, any place Avello is flying, rallies are showing up there. And so I said something about, well, you know, we'd love to do it. I know we'd go out, but they don't come to our place. And National's like, send me an email next week. We'll come up with something that'll get people there for you. We'll get you something. So I'm like, okay, I'm happy to. That sounds good. So I'm looking for the same kind of thing. Something big, something brings people in. You know, it's like when Bill went and talked to the newspaper, and they said, and someone said, well, we've been there for 12 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever it is. And they're like, yeah, 10 weeks, who cares? That doesn't sell newspapers, right? Now, if one of you had stabbed one of the other ones, you know, we might get some decent coverage. Can you just try and hit like a non-vital area? No, I'm just kidding. I am absolutely kidding. The point is, yeah, Bill?
But did you see the editorial in the Leader Telegram this morning talking about protests?
Yep.
Read that and you wonder why they're not reporting on our protests.
Yeah.
Yep.
What a joke.
Yep, they don't. But see, what we have to do, that's why we have to keep upping the game. I know I had talked about die-ins once, and people are like, and they keep talking, and they actually brought die-ins up today as a strategic thing. If you want the press to come, it's like, it's hard, you know, like we can keep doing it. They're not going to suddenly change their mind and decide it's worthwhile, which is why let's try the 35-foot puppet first. You know, we're going to try that first. So anyway, so expand our repertoire of nonviolent tactics, provoke loyalty shifts, maintain discipline and resilience, you know, and remember that whenever they tell us to do something, our answer is always no. No. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Next one. Yeah. Okay, so these are the four main categories of things. They talked about maintaining a group and whatever. The biggest thing I discovered is there are some things we're doing. Oh, can you tell I wasn't done with the first group? Something. Talk about something here. Okay, this is how most of my outlines start. Something. Okay. Sorry, okay, I don't have anything. But I learned that there are some things we're doing really well, in particular with action groups, and the biggest thing I learned that I can use some improvement on is most of them have an action group that is keeping the group sustained. So it's, you know, like taking care of the group, because right now it's mostly just me, sometimes, and Amy a little bit. So I need another action group that's 4 or 5 people to help with, you know, like this. So I don't have to pull you all from your groups, but there's some people to manage that stuff. So I learned I'm not doing that. We spent a lot of time on legacy media, new media and messaging. We're doing well with our digital media. We keep developing. I talked to them about the AI project. They had me send them an email about that. They had me send me an email about SmartPass thing. They had me send them an email about, what was the other thing? Can't remember. Huh? Something. It was something. They had me send him an email about something. I know I had to send 3 of them. In fact, one of my email was so long, at the bottom I went, thank you for coming to my 12-hour TED Talk. Anyway, we talked about pillars of support and allyship. Give me the time.
6:18.
I'm doing good. I got 12 minutes. I know I can do it. I can do it. Okay. Okay, I speeded up enough. There was one particular workshop that I got the biggest goosebumps I've ever had in my life. I couldn't believe it. And I asked people later, what was the most important moment for you? And so they named all kinds of things. And when I mentioned that thing, they'd all go like, oh yeah, I got goosebumps on that too. Okay? So if I told some of you already, I'm sorry, you're going to hear it again. Okay? So it was a group on allyship. Okay? So it had Ashley Woodard Henderson, who worked, who was one of the founders of Black Lives Matter. Giant hair. Just loved her, giant hair. And then, man, she had an afro I'd kill for. And then next to her was Maurice Mo Mitchell, who started the Working Families Party. Okay, that's Mo. Next was Maria Stefan, who got Erica Chenoweth to change her thing. And next there was a national media person from Indivisible. It was all great. Anyway, so they were talking, and it started with Mo saying, you know, as someone else brought up, but it's like basically Mo says, if you're in a room and with only people you like, you're not in a big enough room. Because in order to make this happen, we need everybody we can get. And that means you're going to have to get in rooms with people who make you uncomfortable. And he said, and I like all you guys. As much as I pick on you, I'm like, oh my God, that's us. I need more people I don't like, you know? Oh, it's gonna make the meetings harder, you know? But it's okay. I mean, so Mo's point was, you're gonna have to find people that you disagree with, that you actually don't like each other, that you maybe disagree a lot, but you gotta agree on one point. The democracy is important, and we'll fight this, and then let's get to the other side and fight about the other stuff. Allyship is not about getting your friends to come with you. It's about getting everybody to come with you, which was like awesome. I thought that was amazing. So then Ash started telling a story about, and she said, you know, like I started Black Lives Matter and everybody cheered, yay, you know, because, you know, they're all thrilled about that. Me too. I was cheering. I'm a cheerer. I'll ride the cheer train, right? And she says, yeah, you know, so I didn't have a lot of money, and I'd been working down in Appalachia, and I was on all these back country roads, and I was working on this project, and they were beating the living daylights. She said, I got hurt, and if you look, she's got trauma, and one eye is lower. You can tell. And she said, so they hurt me bad, and okay, get ready, swear words are coming. And so she said, and they hurt me, and I thought, fuck you all, I'm out of here. And everybody's cheering again. She says, so I went and got on a bus. Mo gave me the money. I got on a bus, and I went up north, and I started Black Lives Matter. So everybody's cheering again, right? And she goes, oh, yeah, you all cheer. You all think that's good. She can't get in. Hey. Thank you, San. Okay. Although that was a bad place to break the story.
Sorry.
That was a really bad place to break the story. Okay, so wait, I got to come back. So everybody was cheering. She says, yeah, you all cheer and you think I did really good. She goes, I gave up on 2 states. I left 2 states and didn't work on the change there. I left Appalachia and it just went back to what it was. All the work I had done didn't matter. She goes, and that's the problem, because the work is hard and we all struggle. And what I'm doing now is good, but I feel bad always about the people I left down there and didn't fight for. So then I'm like, whoa, wow, this is heavy. You know, I mean, I'm having a heavy day. And so she said, and she started talking about allyship, and she said, you know, I'm a black woman. Yeah, like we hadn't figured that out. So she says, so I'm a black woman, and I got to tell you, you white people, you are always going to say something that pisses me off. No matter how much I like you, you are always going to say something that pisses me off. And she goes, and I'm a gay black woman, so men, don't even talk to me. And she laughed. She goes, but I have learned how to do that. I have learned how to be allies. And so one of the things I did after is I went up and asked for coaching on how do I get more people into ours? How do I go find them? So I had a couple of good sessions, so I'll share that later about allyship and getting more people to join us, because I'm like, we're weak there. We're really weak. I said, we're also really white up there, so it's hard to, you know, so, but I'm like, you know, we don't, Hmong, Hispanic, how do we get more people in our tent? And so they're like, come on, we'll work with you. So I'll share that later. Here's the part that gave me the goosebumps on my goosebumps. Okay, so Mo was talking, and he said, I was canvassing for Kamala Harris, and I went into a part of the city where no one ever canvasses, ever. But I thought, why not? He said, so I was knocking on the door, and this woman came to the door. I will call her Shannon to protect her identity. She was a woman of a few years. And I said, hi, I'm here to canvass for Kamala Harris. And Shannon says, nobody ever comes over here. And I did think this is what northern Wisconsin thinks. I did have several conversations with people about no one ever comes north for us. Anyway, but I just was going with it. No one ever comes here for us. And so he said, we started talking, and I was talking about her policies and what she wanted to do and what the Republicans and Project 20, and we just kept talking. She was really good to talk to. And he said, I could tell I was getting her agreement. She was agreeing with everything I said. And he said, well, you're going to vote next Tuesday. And she said, oh, is that next Tuesday? Like, had no idea. She said, well, if I go vote, I'll vote for the girl. He's like, okay, thanks. She said, but you know, here's something I want you to know. She says, look up and down the street. So you see this? Every one of these houses has lost someone to gun violence. There's someone missing in every house here. We have so many people die, we don't even cry anymore. It just happens. And nobody ever talks about doing anything about gun violence and what we live with. So now I got goosebumps then. I'm like, oh my God. He said, you know, and I smiled and, you know, asked her to vote again, and I had a huge realization in talking to Shannon. I got Shannon's agreement, but I could tell she didn't think voting for Kamala Harris would change anything. She didn't believe the candidates really cared and would do anything for her. Like, she could do the vote, but she didn't believe anything would change for her. Which then, now I got goosebumps on my goosebumps because I'm like, oh. And he said, and I got something to tell you. That's a big difference between a lot of the Democratic candidates and Mr. Trump. They believe Trump. They believe he cares that they do. They believe him. And if they believe him, they can have a difference of opinion. He can even do things they don't like and they'll let it go because it's just a difference of opinion, right? It's not that they're, you know, it's not like somehow they toss the baby out with the bath. It's just a bad choice. And I thought, how many candidates, how many senators, how many congressmen people is this true for? That people don't really believe they're fighting for them. They just want money and power and whatever they can get. And your vote so they can stay in there. Which I think is why we have people like Maxwell Frost and who are doing so incredibly well. And there was an election earlier this week, I think on Tuesday, where there was a 40-point swing. A really young Democratic candidate that people believed in and didn't think he was just there for his own power because he hadn't been there. You know, the system hadn't corrupted him yet. So I had huge goosebumps thinking about, wow, because that's why I think that the whole thing with the Democratic Party is so low, like people don't believe, you know, and the Republican Party, it's all of us. It's why we've lost such confidence. Anyway, so that was really interesting for me. But the most fun I had, the last night Maxwell Frost came and talked to us, and I recorded it, so I'll post it so you can watch it. 15 minutes. And then Chris Von Hollen came and talked about going down. I didn't record his because, you know, I wasn't as inspired about that. I mean, it's cool, but he talked a long time, so. Maxwell was quick in and out. And because Maxwell Frost was coming, I went in and talked to the national political director, and I told him how we had him lined up to come. and that they had asked us to pull him back, and it was something, like, oh man, I really want to get him back, and I wish he, blah. And so they said, oh, we're trying to get rid of Derek Van Orden. We'll send him out in the spring. And I said, promise? And they said, promise. I said, I'm going to chew your fanny if they don't. But they said, yeah, we wanted, because they wanted to be in the Crawford fight. They want to be in the Van Orden fight. I said, will you guys promise you'll come up north? No one ever comes up north. I said, if you want to, we can make a 3-stop tour out of it. They can go to Madison, come to us, and then they can go to, to Superior, Ashland. Yeah, I think they were thinking more Minneapolis. I said, we may be the little shit in the sandwich, but will they please come for us anyway? I said, because no one ever comes up for us. And they said, we'll come up. They said, maybe we can get somebody to come in the fall, too, just before the election. And so they're with us. And they said they're going to do it. And so I believe them. Isn't that awesome? So I will post that. We had more chats about it, because, I did my thing. So we had more chats about it, but I did record it, so you really watch it. I mean, it's crappy video. The lighting's not real great. But when you listen to him, it's like, I get why people follow him. I get it. He is just amazing. And this was him anyway, you'll like it. And because he's talking to indivisibles, he's talking about what indivisible and nonpartisan and progressives, and it's all about those values. So you guys will love it. And I'm real excited, and we've already had a couple conversations since I've been back. So it's really terrific. So I know. Which brings me to my last point. Aren't we lucky to be in Wisconsin and they want to fight with us? Because if we didn't have Van Orden and the chance to overturn him, who would be talking to us at all? Right? Because we had one whole thing on what they want to work on for next fall, and they had a list of the states to work on, and we are right on the top. They had, these are the most important ones we need. Let's get these going. So we are right up there. So they're with us. So they're going to try and come up with tactics of things we can do to get more press, and they're really proud of us for how we've impacted him because of the rallies and stuff we've been doing. And we do have another one we have to do after June 14th for him. So we have a couple more things to do, but we got to keep working that. Because as much as we need to find our candidate that's going to win, preferably with progressive values, right? We got to find that and get that person built up. We also got to can't let that one rehabilitate itself. Okay, so these are our jobs. Do I have anything else?
Getting under his skin.
Oh, we are. Got him. I know, we did good. I'm so proud of us. This is Pillars is going to be in there because somebody, I think it was Deb, said I couldn't read it, so I got it better. So I'll send you that. And then one more. They use this for Pillars because it's a little different. This was talking about the thing to understand is with the pillars of support, that the leader has power, but what gives him power is the people obeying. Like if we stop obeying, he loses his power. And these are the channels through which we can have an impact. So I went to a thing about what to do with schools. They are so thrilled what we're doing with Eau Claire and the whole resolution thing. I got to tell you, that was the other thing I had to write up. There it is. That's the other thing I had to write up. Okay, so I was there on this. I was there for the state things. And then on, what was the other one? Like with Avello Airlines, like businesses. So I didn't go I'm not good on faith-based communities. Someone else has got to do that work. I always get in trouble. So someone else has got to do that one. And securities, police, and whatever. But okay, we're working it. My main point was to understand that when we stop cooperating, they lose power. And when we stop cooperating, these get thinner and thinner and thinner because other folks don't want to do stuff. So we just got to keep it on. Next time I'll have a bunch of lists of tactics of things we can do. But it was a really great weekend. I'm really excited. I'm mostly excited because we're way ahead of the crowd. We're doing good work. We're definitely doing the right thing. We are on the right beam. And now I've got even more stuff to help us. And I need more people to help me. Okay, anything else? I think I'm done. What the? Okay, I thought here, it's really fast. Veterans event, June 6th. Brody's in DC. He's going to send a picture. He's there. And then we've got our rallies, which on the 11th and 12th. But those are optional. No Kings, I told you this, Pride in the Park, I did this, Community Agnes, I did. This one we're working on, we're meeting on it tomorrow, so we're making headway on that. Okay? Yes?
So Juneteenth was not up there.
I know because, you know, she just stood up.
Yeah. But my question is, next week the meeting is canceled, but then the next Thursday is Juneteenth.
Oh,
So-
and what time is Juneteenth?
5 to 8.
Well, doesn't that just bust my chops? All right, let me see what I can do. Maybe I can move us into Saturday or I can move us into Tuesday. So don't be surprised. Don't get mad and don't chew my fanny if I move it off Juneteenth, okay? All right, so I'm just saying be prepared for a meeting move, okay? Be prepared. So no meeting next week. Let's make the 14th a big event in 2 cities. If we only have 200 people, let's make sure they have the best time of their lives. And make sure we get the best pictures we can, because we can look good even if we aren't doing good, right? We all know how to do that, all right? Okay. Anything else? Now we split into subgroups if you'd like. Yes?
With letter to the editor.
I said, what did I miss?
1 minute, 3 points. We published 5 letters, I think, this week. Second point, on the 17th at 6 o'clock, we have David, who will lead us through the basics of AI and how we can use it for activism.
And that'll be in the new, that'll come out in the email tomorrow with the link and all the other stuff.
So look out for the email from Cindy.
Tomorrow.
Whoever's interested, please join. It's online. And the last point is, I only have a liaison so far for the health group, Mary
Shocking.
Landwehr. Could you send out an email?
Here's what I'll do. I'm gonna do something. I'll do something. Trust me, I'm gonna take this. I'll take this and I'll make something happen, okay?
Okay, because I don't want to pester you, I want to pester the groups.
I understand. And for you, I need a better name for your group.
Letters to the editor is not good enough.
Because it tells the audience what you're doing. Like, give it more of like a purpose thing, like Truth Brigade or something, or, you know, Silo Busters. I don't know. Try to do something that, because otherwise the audience, it sounds like, you know, like for the public, it sounds like we're trying to sway them with like, you know what I mean? It doesn't say.
It's the activity, not the thing you're trying to do with the activity.
Yeah, it's the activity, not what we're trying to do.
I'll bring it in at the next.
Just as Pat's on, she heard me. Yeah, she heard me. But I'm just saying, if we can name it something that's more about like
Shining a light.
shining a light, deep woods communication. I don't know, something like that's why, you know. But something like that. It's about what you're doing, and it doesn't sound like we're trying to get everybody to just write emails that, you know, that we're trying to sway people, not necessarily with our opinion. You know what I mean? What am I trying to say? It sounds like spam.
Yeah,
It sounds like spam.
People get talk about getting communications, and they say, well, if you're just using the same script, use your own words. And so a lot of the people who push those scripts now are saying, here's the bullet points I want you to try to cover, but use your own words to do it. And I think the letters to editor makes it sound like just copy our script, when that's not really what we're doing.
We're just saying how it's perceived in the public. Like when they hear it, it sounds like we are trying to spam them with what our, you know, like we're just trying to bury them with our opinion, and not like we're trying to get our members to share their authentic opinions, which is what we are, and to shine a light up north, which is what we are. We actually want people to, like, I know what you write, you care about. I know what Pat writes about. You know, I know that. But people who look at it don't think that. They think we're advertising or something. You know what I mean? It feels, just think about it. Think about it. And if you disagree, then we'll keep calling it letters to the editor. Okay, anything else?
Can I make one comment about, I don't know how many, I'm sure some people here got to the town hall that Mark Pocan had. So people heard there that the postcard campaign, things that I've done for like many, many years, on the federal level, because of the vetting that's required, they don't get that till 3 weeks later. He said postcards and letters, especially if it has the same message on it, whether it's environment or abortion rights or whatever, is basically worthless. So phone calls, and just so people know, they don't get them till that much later. And it becomes, well, practically irrelevant. So that's on the federal level, which years ago they said there is nothing like a personal letter. And 40 years ago I did a lot of that. Not on that level. So I thought, boy, I took that home and said, don't be doing that. Not postcards, not personal letters to the Congress people and the senators.
Yeah.
On the state level.
Or to voters. Voters is all good.
And he also said that, well, he really liked the phone calls. He said 1 week he had, I don't know, a few hundred. He said the past week he had 18,000. Very impactful. But he said the most, my word, impactful thing he suggested is an email with a personal story. We know that. And in relation to how cuts affect them. Something like that. But he said phone calls, yes.
Phone calls do work, and the other thing, when we write the emails and stuff, they got to have somebody read them, and it takes time, whereas the phone calls, they're just doing a simple count. So I think we can do both things. The other thing, I really need impact stories. I really need to have, and the way impact stories work is just, I'll talk about that next week. We're at the end. I'll talk about, I'll talk about that in 2 weeks. Okay. Goddamn young people with their steel trap brains. I'm just kidding. Okay, anything else? Break into your groups. Do your thing. You good? We all good? All right, throw your garbage away. Thank you all for being here. See you at No Kings. See you in a couple weeks about-ish. About a couple weeks. Thank you, Ann.
Michael's grandma's so toxic.